Welcome everyone, it's Chili again from A Hero's Guide to Asgartha, and today I'm going to just take us through the latest article that's been released by Altered/Equinox, and it is a focus on the Lyra and the Yzmir faction. So it's a faction focus for Roots of Corruption. I'm excited to go through the article and see what they're going to share with us today. And then also a little update on where we are in the game found itself for Roots of Corruption. Are we going to get to the level that we need? And what needs to happen to create that urgency, both in terms of the public, but also in terms of incentives from Equinox as well to get us there. Now, I don't really understand the game found model myself in terms of how you actually put stretch targets in, how you actually value what is the incentive to bring people in. But for me, I think there is something lacking from a perspective of the individuals that's not causing the conversion that we want. And maybe the delay with Seeds of Unity being so much that people are a little bit more reluctant until they get things in hand. I know on this side of the pond, so those of us that are stateside are waiting to receive their product, many of which will actually happen over the next 2 to 3 days. I know I'm getting some of my product tomorrow. I'm assuming my stores will, which means we can have our pre-release. But I'm surprised that there's not as much coming in from the French side, which have had the product for a couple of weeks. In particular, maybe they are going through the stores, and once we get that store pledge available to us, it will give us more of those warm fuzzies we're looking for. But anyway, this article though, so to celebrate our Game Found launch, we are thrilled to present a series of 3 exclusive articles, the Faction Focus. So we're going to get a chance to see through these 2 at a time. In these deep dives, our lore, art, and game design take the floor to reveal the creative journey behind Roots of Corruption. So very similar to what we saw with Seeds of Unity. I think it's great giving us more of the insight in terms of how the actual set has been made. So Yoshi, of course, many people know here, the narrative designer, Gabriel Amaric, which is the art director, and Charles Wickham, the game designer, are going to be taking us through here. So let's read through Lyra and what they have to offer for us in this set. So the nightmare surges through the Rika city, its corruption bleeding into every corner, fueled by shadows of terror, despair, and intolerance. In the face of this overwhelming negativity, the Lyra have rallied. They counter the darkness with their artistic brilliance, spreading waves of hope to inspire those on the brink of surrender. Led by Yongi and Ember, new Lyra heroes aligned with the Korgan. That's pretty cool. They have begun to fill the city streets with the scent of blooming flowers, heady fragrances, and wreaths of incense to purify the air and hold the nightmare at bay. Interested to see how this is actually going to play out, why the smells are able to put something at bay. Bastet perfectly embodies this protective role. So I'm assuming, Bastet is one of the characters that we'll be able to get in this set. Drawing from Egyptian mythology, the cat-headed goddess, daughter of Ra, represents both gentle comfort and warrior fury. Historically honored with floral ointments and perfumes, she became the personification of spiritual purification. She is also the mother of Nefertum, the god of perfume, healing, and rebirth. But be warned, when provoked, Bastet reveals her darker side, the lioness Sekhmet, the goddess of divine wrath. The card looks really, really cool. And you can see here that incense, or that the smells that they're putting out, is actually very much paramount in the work that Jameen Amaral Fernandez has done. Really good job in terms of the card art here. Beautiful. In this new expansion, the Lyra return with Yongi and his faithful companion Ember, a duo that blends randomness and support effects with startling precision. And, it's Lyra, of course, there's going to be some randomness. And while I'm getting a little bit, the bestowing sloth just reminds me so much of the Disney movie that has the bunny, the little bunny. What is it called? Zootopia. Fantastic. Every turn presents a pivotal choice. Do you play your characters to establish board presence, or discard them to trigger their support abilities while carefully selecting the perfect target for your hero's power? Bestowing Sloth perfectly illustrates this dynamic. Entering the fray asleep, it remains in play for 2 days, creating the ideal window to be targeted by Yongi and triggering its support effect at the optimal moment. Meanwhile, Lakshmi Zhao shines when you roll a die with your hero, effectively transforming random chance into a calculated opportunity. So the rare Bestowing Sloth is 2/3 for 3/2/3 in stats. When played from hand, I gain a sleep, and at noon, resupply. But it has the ability, and this is actually quite good, of being able to select after you. So you can actually get that ability. That's not bad. And then the Lakshmi's owl. So another of the Lakshmi characters here. This is the owl associated to it. 1/1 for 0/1/0. When you roll one or more dice, if I have no boosts, I gain one boost. And it has the discount ability, which we saw in set 1 returning here. Pay 1 less for the next character you play this turn, down to a minimum of 1. So if you use the discount ability, and that's basically, if you looked at the old sets, the first few games that we were playing, that was definitely the way that Lyra was operating, a lot of those discount abilities. All 6 factions are rolling up their sleeves to save the Rika city and its people. High in the upper city, gathered around the great statue, celebrating the bond between Rika and Asgartha, the Lyra have begun to cleanse the creeping corruption. Bastet, the guardian goddess, orchestrates the counteroffensive from her perch atop one of the district's towering monuments. Below, wielding sacred censers, Mia the ballerina and Lyra Pfeiffer fill the streets with purifying mists. They are joined by a former Rika guide turned Rika Thurifier. Is it Thurifa? Thurifa, a transformation born of necessity. Even more unconventional defenders have joined the fray, such as the smoking skunk, who purifies the air in its own unique way. In this altered expansion, the virtuoso Lyra handle incense sticks with the same grace as a harp or a paintbrush. By weaving smoke through the card's artwork, our creative team wanted to show a faction united in effort. While incense has replaced song and paint to banish the corruption, its universal symbolism of healing and spiritual cleansing makes it a powerful visual language for players to understand the battle for the city. And look, I know I love the game, but I actually love what we're getting in terms, especially in today's society, of being able to appreciate different cultures and what they stand for. And I think this, not only through the art, but through the storytelling, we're blending all these elements into a beautiful, how would I call it? It's a beautiful montage of what could be and the good in every different culture and blending it together to show it into a game. I think it's beautiful what they've done with the art. And we can see here 4 of the arts already there. So we've spoke about Jameen, Zero Wen, and Doba. And as we scroll down, this is a skunk, and Kevin Siddhartha has done this beautiful, beautiful art. Looking forward to seeing what some of these cards do. The other thing of note, and I'm going to go back here in the art, is you're starting to see in some of these, actually in basically all of them, the eye, right? That evil eye. You can see it blended into the artwork of these full arts that we're looking at in different parts of it. Really, really, really subtle in some cases. In other times it does stand out, but it's brilliant. They've done a brilliant job. Okay, Yzmir. The Yzmir have always known for centuries they watch the nightmare lurking just beyond the fringes of reality, choosing silence so that the rest of humanity could live in peace. Interesting, this, if you read through the lore, you get to see that there's that secret part of the work that nobody knows about except the Yzmir. They're willing to sacrifice their lives and sanctify their bodies and souls to be able to give to ensure that everyone's safety is there, even though they may not get some recompense or the recognition. With the rise of the Exalts, they are finally ready to strike back. Sam and Spook now lead an elite cadre of mages, specialists in eldritch threats, whose mission is to dive into the heart of the nightmare and seal the breach before the corruption spreads further. To put it simply, they have been waiting for a fight like this for a long time. Tamer is one such initiate whose role is pivotal. While she must hold back the tides of the nightmare, her true objective is to mend the very fabric of reality. With her needle, she can stitch the veil between worlds back together. Yet her greatest weapon is her mind. She has transformed her psyche into an unbreakable fortress, building mental dikes to withstand the deluge of dark thoughts and corruption that threaten to drown her. In the coming struggle, her iron will be her only shield. And you can see here again, you're fighting the eye, and she is using that needle to strike at it. Really, really cool. It almost feels like she's little here, like microscopic, Ant-Man style, but it also could be the size of this nightmare that we've been faced. And Ungtung has done a great job in that art. I'm trying to figure out what is on her back, but really, really cool. Love what they've done so far. All right, Roots of Corruption introduces a duo as formidable as they are fascinating. Sam and Spook. Their promise? To turn your discard pile into a high-octane engine of power. In their hands, every discarded card is no longer a loss, but a strategic investment. Your early game will revolve around one clear objective: reaching the critical threshold of 6 cards in your discard pile. Once you hit that mark, your power awakens and the tide of the match shifts in your favor. And I love that this is something new that we haven't seen at all in terms of being able to discard things. Now, one of my hopes eventually is that we not only have a discard pile, but what I call in Flesh and Blood, a banish pile as well. Cards that will not be recycled in the way that we currently do in Altered. We'll see if that ever comes to pass, but I like that idea. To get there, you'll need to aggressively fuel your graveyard. Cards like Molting Crab accelerate your game plan by letting you discard efficiently from your hand, while others, like the Baron Cemetière, offer massive rewards once your threshold is met. As your discard pile grows, your threats become increasingly oppressive. Sam and Spook offer a bold, high-tension playstyle where every choice matters. You must be willing to strip away your resources now to achieve total dominance later. It's a risky strategy, but an incredibly exhilarating one, and I really like that. Can you get the payoff to occur? Are we able to block enough early on or stop the double progression so that once you are triggered, you are definitely online? It's a very difficult thing that we tried to do, but very few people succeeded in Gulrang. And I think this is actually, once again, doing the same thing. The new hero, if I can recall correctly. The new Orders hero, sorry, I forgot his name. He does the same thing. Very slow up front, really, really beneficial at the back end. It's Hive. Mech and Hive? Oh my goodness, how do I forget? So Molting Crab, 3/3 for 3/3/4. When played from anywhere, draw a card, then discard a card from your hand. And I think that is great. That's a really great way of accelerating without losing cards from your hand. I honestly feel this card will definitely be played in every deck. The fact that it lets you cycle with no benefit, and you don't even get a discount on what you're paying for its cost. You're actually getting one more stat in water for what you get. And Baron Cemetière, once again, 2/2 for 1/1/1. If 6 or more cards are in your discard pile, create a Manamoth illusion token in target expedition. Otherwise, I get 1 boost. So even if you don't get the benefit, you're still getting 2/2 for 2/2/2. If you do get the benefit, it's 2/2 for 3/3/3, which I think is fantastic in terms of what they've done there. So escorted by the elite Bravos troop, the Yzmir push toward the corrupted heart of the giant tree. The Yzmir push toward the corrupted tree of the giant tree, to the corrupted heart of the giant tree Naos, to seal the breach between worlds. In this epic clash against the nightmare, humans and creatures alike pour every ounce of their energy into closing the rift. While some, like Janus, rely on raw physical power, the meaner seamstress repairs the veil separating the two worlds with her enchanted needle. So we've got a few characters that have that needle element in there as well. So like really tying back, closing back the breach that's happened. So here is the danger. Here, the danger is absolute. Corruption can claim anyone, even a witch as powerful as Baba Yaga. So Baba Yaga's now got a corrupted card version of her. Interesting. The eye is a recurring motif throughout this expansion, highly versatile and deeply unsettling. It taps directly into the tropes of cosmic horror, placed in unexpected locations on bodies or within the scenery. These excessive clusters of eyes are designed to make even the boldest player shudder. While the entire city is plagued by these nightmarish visions, only the Yzmir cards set within the heart of the breach feature backgrounds composed entirely of eyes, making the place where the risk of corruption is at its peak. And it also makes sense with the storytelling there as well. Like, they are the ones going in. I would assume Bravos as well, but in a different sphere. So Anne Tung has got it great with her art. Gamon, Nestor, and Jean-Baptiste have really got some good cards here as well in terms of what we can see. And you can see the breach. You can see the eyes constantly vigilant, constantly. And look at this. Look at Baba Yaga as a corrupted person. My goodness. And there she has a skeleton? What, the animal's a skeleton there with her as well. Interesting. Anyway, that is it for what has been presented. I think this is a lot of intrigue looking at these mages in one way or another. How are they going to help us? I think for me, I would love to be able to get back into Yzmir and use some of that. I think there's going to be some really fun dynamics that are going to come out. But in closing, let's have a look where we are on the game found. 274,000 euros already reached, 548% funded, which is great. We know the 50,000 euro was just a number to be able to to unlock some of the stretch goals. We haven't reached the first one yet. The first one probably is going to come within the next 12 to 24 hours, 300,000. So we're 25,000 off. I wish they had started the stretch goals earlier. For me, there's a psyche of once you achieve one goal, then more get achieved, because people get excited. And the fact that it went from 50 to 300, I think was too much of a stretch for a lot of people. I know we are going to achieve it. I don't have any qualms about doing that, but it should have been achieved earlier by making it less onerous to get from 50 to 274. So we basically got the first 100 or so thousand quite easily within basically a few hours. And then it's been a bit of a slog as we've progressed a little bit by little bit. I'm back at number 350. We're already 1,037. And I believe there was 2,000 odd that were back as last one. So we're halfway there in terms of people. My hope is that this goes a little higher. And then on top of that, you've got what the stores can provide, which are not here. So 7 days left. We're 2 days in, maybe 2 and a little bit days in, and we're about to get there. The second article that they showed us is a thank you basically for the first day of support. And to every single one of you who joined us on day one, thank you. Roots of Corruption is off to a great start, and all the kind messages we've received across the comments and social media have been heartwarming. Knowing that so many of you are as eager as we are to delve into the darker corners of the altered world makes all the hard work behind the scenes worth it. And I think this is a great way of reintroducing us to GameFound, getting that emphasis on something different, but also something that a lot of people have been longing for. So the path ahead, the stretch goals, with the initial funding milestone already cleared, it's time to look toward the horizon. We have a treasury of surprises prepared to make this edition truly special. Our first major milestone sits at 300,000, and while that's the immediate target, many more will follow in quick succession, and we will see that you went from 300 to 330, so the next one is actually a little bit easier, and I hope they become smaller increments based on how big the first one was to get there. So what can you expect from our stretch goals? We've designed these rewards to benefit the entire community. The next stretch goal to be revealed are universal, meaning they apply to every version of the product, whether you're a retailer or a GameFound backer. I love how they're finally putting retailer in here rather than pro stores or whatever it was. You'll see upgrades to boosters and displays. Nice. Our first look, the 330,000 milestone. And actually, before we do that, the 300,000 milestone, I'm going to just quickly click on that one. Had a few pages set up. So that's basically the Exalted cards go from 1 in every 20 packs to 1 in every 16 packs. I think that's good. Lots of opportunities to be able to achieve. Get basically 2 per box would be amazing if we can get to that. Okay, our first look, the 330,000 milestone. We're excited to pull the curtains on what's next. Once we hit 330,000 euro, all box stoppers will receive a significant upgrade. In addition to the full art card, you will find an additional unique card from Roots of Corruption inside. So everyone is going to get one unique on top of what you're going to get in your box. So if the average per box is 4 uniques, because we know there's 1 in every 6 should be a unique on average, you can at least, you're not guaranteed. On average, you'll get 4. Now you're going to get 5. And I think that's great. Like the uniques, their algorithm can be for plenty, right? You really have an unlimited supply of uniques. And to give us a chance to just get a lot more of them, and hopefully a lot more higher quality ones, and that would be fantastic. So that is what they've released, an exclusive treasures for our GameFound backers. So once we move past the initial shared series, and we don't know how many of those there are, whether there's 2, 3, or 4, we have a specialized track of goals exclusive to our GameFound backers. These rewards are a way of thanking you for the direct support that makes this campaign possible. These exclusives include the enhancements to the premium feel of rewards with new physical and digital products to choose from exclusive to GameFound, upgrades to the GameFound topper, a community vote for a new product that will never be available through traditional retail channels, and who knows, we might have a few more surprises in store for you. But that's a story for another time. Thank you again for your standing with us and supporting the future of Altered. Great. Now, for me, what I really hope as one of these that is universal for everyone is a higher composition of rares. I understand if they don't, but I hope they do. I think it takes too many packs, too many boxes to be able to get a playset right now. Now, there are some people that just want a playset of one faction, so it's easier to trade. But when you're having to buy basically 6 to 8, more than 6 boxes to just get a playset, I think that's a little bit rich. Now, you can buy them online, but then you got to print on demand them. I prefer getting, 6 boxes should give you everything you need on top of the uniques that you could have. That would be my hope. That would be my goal. All right, where are we in terms of the campaign itself? So right now we are in the middle of the campaign, but March 16th, so put that in your calendars, is when the stores are going to end their pledges. And then hopefully just shortly after that, we'll be advised how much they have done. In terms of what they did last set, we're looking at about 1.4 million euros was done by the stores. I hope we get close to that. We may not. And given some of the delays here, you may have some stores that have pulled out. But on the positive side, I think from the French side, we should be getting more from them. And that's because they got their product on time. They're playing it. It's like the whole country is invested in this game and playing it. The rest of the world is trying to play catch up, not only in getting the product, but in also building our communities, given a lot of the deterrents that have occurred through some of the communication and some of the issues that Equinox has had. They've had a rough start for Seeds of Unity, and unfortunately some of that has trickled on in many cases more than trickled, into Roots of Corruption. This set to me, though, looks like it will be fabulous. I love the game design, where it's going, and I think if we give it a chance as a community, we'll definitely be rewarded with great gameplay. But not just that, I also think once the game found goes live, we will hear more about the competitive circuit for this year. And my hope is that they can build enough money in their kitty so that we get that look ahead so much further than just now. I would have hoped that by the end of the year, we already have that process in place for 2027. I wish we had done that at the end of 25 for 2026. That wasn't the case, but we're looking to do that. And then basically, the campaign will end on March 20th. So back to this as well. We have 2 days between when the retailers get their pledge for us to finalize our orders. It doesn't say here whether the campaign end means we cannot make adjustments after the 20th. I would assume, March 16th is the end of the retailer. March 18th is when they're going to make the announcement. And then we have until the 20th to basically do our part. I don't know through communication whether we're going to get any few days after that to add more to our order, right? And how long that will be. I hope we get a chance to add more at a certain point in time. I don't know if it's going to be a couple of days or it just ends there. Given how I participated and how I put my money, it said that I could actually make adjustments. It just didn't tell me till when. And then the last thing is here, you can see here, in terms of the stretch goals, we have slots for 2 more. But I know there's going to be more than that. There has to be more than that. And I love what they've done. Unlocked it. It should actually have the key unlocked, actually. That would have been cool if they did that. So looking forward, I think the box topper is going to be great. The next one that we look for, and this is the one that I think is going to drive a lot more people in, is changing the rare composition, as I've said earlier. Once again, that's my wish. I have no inside knowledge, but that is my hope. And then increase the chance of getting some more of the different alternate arts would be another ask that I have. And I wrote a couple of things down in terms of where I hope they go. Once again, I'm not Equinox. They have to make the decision in terms of what's best for them. But they definitely need to be listening to us as the community to make our investment or our fun money go further than it currently does. It definitely further than it did in set 1. We didn't really get much from set 1, 2, or 3. So I love that they're giving us more chase cards and more opportunities. Anyway, on that, I bid you adieu.